You know, somebody can get murdered anywhere. You know, somebody can be growing illegal drugs or whatever in their house anywhere you go, right?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like coming to this now. What I was saying that is, people when they get into their religion, you know, people when they get into their religion feel that, well, you know something, if I don't stay inside this religion, then this world is going to burn. But they don't realize that. How is it that they're in a country, right, where there's so many religions? It's like, how is that coming about then, that there's so many religions and they can practice different religions? See, so they don't understand now, because you're kind of giving me the understanding now.
Yeah.
You know, and I kind of picked it up from the reading that that's what it probably means. But until you say it, then you know I can't really confirm or substantiate it.
Yeah.
But after you say it, I'm saying, okay, that's what it means. So a lot of people don't understand what that means. They just think that you're just gonna have to be this way. Like you can't be a Christian more, or you can't be a, you know, like in other words, no religious freedom.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, people think it's sort of a constraint.
So it's good that you touch on that now, and I'm just giving my understanding of it. You know, and it's good.
But and the thing too is that everything is relative.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like things are supposed to be separate.
Exactly.
Like the way people look at it, like history.
They compartmentalize everything.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're violating, or there's a danger, or you're betraying, or it's treason.
That's the same thing you're talking about. That's the same thing you're talking about when people hear the word more, then they get scared.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of this. It's part of the slave program, right? It's part of getting us to think like them.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they get us to think like them, then we're not thinking like ourselves. And then they can think like us and then conquer us.
You know that, right? Yeah, you got that
right.
Yeah.
So what Noble Ali decided to do wasn't like a good idea. Like how you might be somebody who's in need or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you decide, you know what, I'm going to go organic.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is not like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like this is something that he set up for like generations to benefit from this. Because all of it has to come back to, are you following the law? And what law are you following? But if you don't know the law, then how can you know what negative law is opposed to positive law?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you have to know it. And not know it in the sense of know everything, because nobody can know everything. Like Black's Law Dictionary is like this. Like this book is just like this, and I'm not going to know everything in this book. Right? So it's not about, well, Moors like to say that they know everything. No, but this includes everything. You know what I'm saying? This doesn't exclude anything.
Exactly.
Because it just can't work like that. You know what I mean? So the other thing that I was going to read, and the reason why I picked this up was just to make reference that you can write this down. The Treaty of Verona.
Treaty
of Verona.
Yeah, this spelled the Verona.
V-E-R-O-N-A.
Okay.
Precedent and positive proof of conspiracy.
Wow.
Right. Because this goes into something where we're not at yet. Right? But just so you have that as a reference. Right? So what Noble Ali said was before every meeting that you have in this movement that I set up, there's going to be like certain protocol that you have to do, right? Like this is a class, so it's in this format, but in the temple format, it's set up a certain way, right? And it's set up no different than when Stephen Harper and those guys are going to Parliament, or whoever is going to Congress, or whatever form of government that exists, however they exercise. Because those people who are saying that they're government are corporations. So if a government is a corporation, right, then it's not like corporations are a bad thing. It just depends on who's the person that established it.
Yeah, and how it's being run. Is
it
being run on like positive principles, or is it being corrupted? Yeah,
right.
Is it being corrupted?
Right.
You know,
exactly.
I mean, are people knowing what they need to know, or are people being fooled into thinking that they know when they don't?
When they don't.
Right. And a good example of that I was just thinking of the other day is when they say it's separation of church and state.
Yeah, yeah.
But that goes back to the time when the people who were running the country were actually following more positive format more closely, you know what I'm saying? And they're following what the Moors gave them. Mm. And they said there's a separation of church and state. Mm-hmm. Meaning not temple, not mosque, not... They literally meant separation of the Christian doctrines.
Yes,
from this Americas, because that's what they were leaving.
Okay.
That's what they said. They knew that wasn't something that helps your government prosper. Mm-hmm. That form of religion doesn't help your government prosper. They had a bad record at the time. Mm-hmm. They didn't want that, right? Because if they say the separation of church and state, and then they still come and bring a Bible and make you swear on it in court, and they still say God save America, and God and this and that. They're talking about spirit. They're talking about general spirituality, and they still say you can come here and practice whatever religion you want.
That's right.
That's proper government.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Allowing people to practice whatever religion they want.
Right.
But they said. And that's why you have public school and you have Catholic school.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want the Catholics to take over the Americas. And people think that it's separation of spirituality and state. No. Spirituality runs the state. God is government ordinance department. Right? So if you're trying to have a government and you don't admit that there's a God and you don't have any kind of spirituality, no one's gonna follow you.
You're just a bad
like something bad's gonna happen and you're gonna be screwed. And only a certain number of people are gonna be there to support that cause, that government. And everyone else is gonna be like, well, forget these guys. These guys don't even believe in God.
Yeah, satanics or something.
Because I was looking into that too. I was there's sometimes when I was thinking on this subject and I was saying to myself, well, in the U.S., so-called U.S., right? Yeah. You know, the presidents and all those guys, you know, when they make spiritual statements, which is every now and again they slip something in there, right? Mm. Are they dealing with Catholicism?
No.
No. Okay.
Totally.
Because there's times when I think that they're trying to make it look like, okay,
oh yeah, that's the image. The image. We're Christians. And they say, and there's a saying that this is a Christian land. But remember, that's just the saying. So there's sayings. There's the social reality, what people say and what people say on the street. Mm-hmm. Then there's what is actually law. And law is, if I have a particular religion and I want to practice my religion, there's no government agent who can stop me.
That's true.
That's the law.
Yeah, because I've worked.
That's always been the law. Like.
Yeah, because I recall doing some demolition work in Sarnia when I was with Murray Demolition, and we were working on taking down some parts of a hospital for it to be reconstructed by the crew, and there was a chapel. There was a room inside the hospital where, you know, if you're a Muslim, you can practice, you go in there and pray. Mm-hmm. If you're a Christian or you want to go in there and pray, you pray. It's designated for anybody with a religion can go in there and have their time. Yeah. You know, their religious time there. So I know what you're saying. But you see, these things just kind of came up with me like maybe a couple of years ago. You know. But I remember growing up though and reading here and there and then watching certain movies in England. And it's like there was a war, you know. The church the church to get separated. There was a war because the church used to control, like I guess the king used to be like a religious king, right? And the government at the same time, right? And then there'd be a lot of plots within plots, and twists, and then eventually it kind of got separated. You know, it kind of got separated.
Like Henry VIII, right?
Yeah, Henry VIII and those type of things, you know. But I guess now it's like, as you're saying, it's like the government is set up as a government, but they allow, you know, other religions, right?
Well, that's ancient. That goes back like thousands of years.
Yeah.
That's why you have certain native tribes do whatever they do, other native tribes do whatever they do, and there's nobody trying to say, well, yo, you all have to do this, you all have to do that. Exactly. That's happened in other parts of the world. But when you come to the Americas, the Moors had it in such a way because you can't come here unless you can build ship-faring boats. So not anybody came here. So if you came here, it was like we think we have border patrol now, like we had this locked. It was locked. Yeah, there are people here, Chinese here, different people coming. But when you came, you had to follow certain rules. But the rules really were that you govern yourself if you want to, and just don't cause trouble. Like it was basic. They say, you know, Islam is a simple religion. You know what I mean? It requires man to be responsible to his fellow man and to his God Allah, and that's it. And that's what it is. And that's what, when you hear these presidents from way back, Thomas Jefferson and so forth, reading the Quran or whatever, they're sort of studying an Islam that's sort of, they study a little bit of what they do in the East, but they're studying our Islam. They're studying this stuff that they're studying what we're studying now.
Wow.
Right?
And that was the whole thing with showing this last week.
Yeah. Because I remember I was asking about, you know, who designed it. I heard that there was the brothers, the Bays, that designed like the White House and stuff.
Yeah.
Was it designed and built, or we just gave them the blueprint? I don't know if it...
Well, we got the slaves to build everything.
Yeah, okay.
That's where the whole thing of slavery comes in. Right?
Yeah.
And the fact that nobody wasn't brought anywhere from anywhere. Everybody was already here. Some of them just decided to be niggers. And some of them decided to, and whoever decided to be a nigger, then you now work for these guys.
You have your foreman over you and stuff. Listen to this. When I was with Murray, they tell you, you know, everybody can wear their hard hats, right? And then they want to come tell us now, you're not allowed to wear a white hard hat. Only the foreman is allowed to wear a white hard hat, right? So me, I work so hard hat was like paper to me, man. I'm working, my hard hat's getting mashed up like easy. And then one day it's like, they didn't have any hard hats left. So I went on to Canadian Tire. And I looked for the most affordable hard hat, and it was a white one.
Yeah.
So this is crazy because they kind of got embarrassed because we just got a subcontract with Akon, and we were working at the nuclear facility up in Pickering there. So that means everybody's gonna see who you are and who you're representing. So everybody goes to work and they put on the gear, and we put on my white hard hat on, did their work and everything, right? So when the foreman came up to me and said, Mike, what are you doing? Working as usual, you know, and I'm being the safety rep and all this kind of stuff. He said, you're not allowed to wear a white hard hat? I said, well, who says? Oh, you're just not allowed to? I said, well, who says? I said, well, Joe. I said, who's Joe? Joe hires people, you know? I said, is there a law that says I'm not supposed to wear a white hat? Yeah, but you know, you could get fired. I said, where? Where is that written down? I said, I'm wearing this hat to protect myself. It was the most affordable hat that I could get, and that's why I'm wearing it today, right? But they got me on something because they go, well, let's see the hat. So they looked inside the hat and they go, well, this is not really safety issue. You know, you have the CS, whatever.
The green triangle.
Yeah. They say it's not regulated. I said, well, today's gonna have to be regulated because nobody can find no other color hat here.